The information superhighway has been abuzz, like a honeycomb that is set afire, and basically you have tech junkies and video game enthusiasts alike pretty much all just going apeshit talking about Sony's recent announcement at GDC, and that was for their oft-rumored VR headset that they were potentially working on, and they unveiled that they actually were working on one that's going to end up going toe-to-toe, head-to-head with the Oculus Rift. And they dubbed it as Project Morpheus, having nothing to do with the Matrix trilogy, especially 2 and 3, because nothing should have to do with those other than a goddamn fucking mulcher, a wood chipper, and a big old fucking fat pile of goddamn doo-doo butter, because those movies fucking suck assholes. But anyhow, moving on from that, I still love the first one. But Project Morpheus. What is it? It's a fucking VR headset. Not to be confused with having a Virtual Boy and a roll of duct tape and pretty much just an eye doctor who's cringing at the very idea that you're gonna have sinkholes where your fucking eyeballs should be, and all you're gonna see is fucking red and black wherever the hell that you go, and things are gonna suck really bad, because that's like Terminator vision, except for without all the pop-up displays giving you all the really fucking detailed information and stuff like that, but you know, whatever. Teleroboxer is still a good game. Just, you know, play it for 5 minutes apiece. That's really about it. So just one round of robot boxing, and that's all you want to do. But so they showed this off, and I found that there's 3 camps of people who've essentially been reacting to this and talking about it. So the 3 camps work like this. You have the one camp who immediately was just like, so Sony, you couldn't really just do something innovative or creative or unique. You decided to rip off the Oculus Rift. You motherfuckers are always just doing copycat bullshit, see the blueprints of something, and you're just gonna do some runaway success with other people's ideas. Way to fucking innovate, suck a fucking dick, burn in hell, nobody wants to see you, I hope a truck falls on you. Then you have the camp of people that essentially are the defense committee and are very positive about the idea of something like this. They're like, no, this will be really different from the Oculus Rift. This is going to be something that's really fun and really awesome, and I'm really engaged about it, trying to sell. And I think there'll be really unique and awesome games about this, and I think that you ought to go and give it a chance and quit hating on things and blah, 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 blah. And then you have an equal amount of people who simply could give a fuck less altogether. Like, yeah, that's cool and all that you want to strap shit to your fucking, like, head meat and shit, but I just gotta tell you, I got a controller, so I'm good. Oh, and a TV! You're a fucking schmuck, seriously. I'm gonna go play games now. Just play games. So yeah, you take your gimmicky bullshit and go fuck yourself. Inside out, right side in, doesn't matter, roll down a hill. So, you have people that are like that, or they have their keyboard and mouse set up and they're just fucking good with that shit too, because frankly, they don't need to fucking have this headset and shit and just start going like this, and, you know, like they're fucking Stevie Wonder trying to go and find their way out of a titty bar, and they're just like, I'm actually having a good time, to be honest. But I want to get things out of the way first and foremost, because well, I just actually remind myself of something. This will innovate in the biggest fucking way possible, and I guarantee you, porn will never be the same ever again after Oculus Rift comes out and this comes out. I guarantee you, as soon as they start bundling these bitches with fucking fleshlights, I guarantee you, shit's done. People are not gonna be leaving their house anymore. You won't see like bulked up fucking right arms and shit from them just going to fucking Fat-tacular Fridays. Shit, I'm booked all goddamn day long. I'll put in overtime, I just gotta let you know. And I've got some really screwed up shit that I end up finding on fucking DeepNet, so I'm just gonna have a great time. But the thing is, porn, that's all I think about. I'm just like, shit, can you really imagine? Like, porn sites have a trouble already generating revenue as it is, and especially like porn stars and stuff like that. So, because everybody can just stream shit and steal shit, so they're like, what the fuck ever? Like, I give a shit. But with stuff like this, dude, that right there, people will just be like, in cybersex, 10 times fucking better. Like, 10 times better. Granted, you won't be able to feel like actual jubblies and shit, but you know, you just go and pound that, and there you go. And that's, humans are perverted as shit. You know damn well that this at least came to mind once, and if it didn't, well, now it did, so there you go, and allow your mind to go and wander off into the fucking deepest trenches of your fucking mind of all this shit that you're like, I don't want to say that out loud. Everybody will think that I'm a dirty little fuck. So, yeah, porn. That's all I gotta say right there. Dating sims? Oh my god, that shit's gonna get out of hand, like, and then some. Especially when people start adapting, like, all the creepy-ass fucking fanfics that they end up finding, and then all the ones that are drawn up that they end up using, like, from fucking DeviantArt. They're just like, so I found all these written up, and I found people that drew stuff for them. So yeah, I'm gonna go and adapt that, make a game, and make one of the worst possible things ever that's so poorly fucking written, it ends up becoming some kind of, like, triple X porno comedy type thing that's just bound for copyright infringement and then some, as well as the most awkward court case ever whenever they do a PowerPoint presentation of why I'm fucked up and why I should not only go to jail but seek psychiatric help. But hey, there you go. But let's get back on point, shall we? So we got that out of the way. Now, they had announced a couple games with this. Thief was one of them. So Thief is out right now, and they didn't say all of Thief. They said portions of Thief would actually be compatible with the Morpheus. So you got your little fucking Morpheus strapped on, you're playing with your fucking controller and shit, and certain sections of it, you'll be able to do that. So you'll be able to run all over the place and go and sneak around, da-da-da-da-da. They didn't specify the exact ones, or if they were going to create, you know, all brand new ones just for PlayStation 4, but, you know, it's there. Then there was one that caught people kind of off guard because originally this wasn't exclusive for the Oculus Rift, and that was Eve Valkyrie. Now, Eve Valkyrie is exclusive for the Oculus Rift for PC. So that's it. And fucking arms going crazy all over the place. It's Gumby! Ugh. So you got that. And there was two other games. I don't remember the names of them. I know that the one sounded kind of cool on paper, just reading about it. But apparently it's like kind of like castles and dungeons and shit like that, and you use PlayStation Move controller, like swords and shit, and run around and like just fuck things up. I'm like, I don't know, that sounds kind of cool. But something like that I would imagine would be a good pack-in to have with this. And that's one of the things that I want to get to with this, is ultimately, what are the chances of something like this succeeding? And the Oculus Rift, I think, has a lot more potential just based off the fact that it's on PC and anybody can go and develop for it. Like, anybody. As a matter of fact, right now, I know that they're taking pre-orders on a second batch of the dev kits for it. So you can still go out and go and get those. And the thing is, you'll be able to do, like, tons more shit with it than just be relegated to only making video games. And I like that idea, considering that, you know, to Kinect. Lots of people have pretty much given the Kinect a big fat fucking glowing middle finger that can be seen from any goddamn star out in our galaxy. And they're just like, wow, golly jeepers, they really don't fucking like that. But the Kinect, when it's hooked up to a PC, has had all sorts of innovative features used for it that gaming never got. And the thing is, that idea I like a whole bunch. I'm like, that I can see being used a whole bunch. And again, you know, the other outlets, porn. Sorry, it's just there. It's a fucking given that eventually it will be used for that. It's just, shit will get cray, awfully cray. But in all sincerity, there is a lot of applications that you could go and apply these VR headsets to, and the Oculus Rift would be able to go and utilize them a lot easier than the Morpheus would. The Morpheus seems like it's going to be a lot more gaming-centric, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, assuming that Sony really pushes this and then some, and that's if there is fan demand for something like this. And there's a lot of variables to take into account with this. The first thing is that if there's a lot of fan demand to try out something like this, there has to be content for them to go and try out. So Sony's really got to push for a first-party like game supply that's going to be built from the ground up for this specifically. You can't have this dumb bullshit of, like, back on the Wii, where they tacked on Waggle support with, you know, random fucking games that was an afterthought. So then it didn't feel immersive, it didn't feel innovative, it didn't even feel fun. It felt like a fucking chore after a while. And you know what, motherfuckers, feeling like, yeah, I'm really enjoying this whiplash I'm getting right now. I feel like at the moment that I should be in the midst of fucking like Morbid Angel concert and fucking headbanging, which honestly would be really cool. But, you know, now that I think about it, that would make a concert experience really, really neat. Huh, never thought about that. But and that's one of the things. There's a lot of ideas that you could have with this that would be neat. But anyway, trying to go and stay on track is Sony's got to get third-party and first-party really engaged on this and build shit from the ground up for it. So, for example, if you have a third-party game that's coming out and you want to add the Morpheus support for said game, then you may want to go and dish out like a little bit extra money to said developer / publisher to go and have extra people, a little team devoted just to going and making features for this that will work well for it, instead of, again, they just tack it on, you know, with the extra time that they have and then shove it onto store shelves. So whoever did invest into that headset is just like, wow, this seriously is what I fucking paid for? This sucks. Like, fuck these people, and fuck Sony, you know, and you're just gonna have a pissed off fan base. You don't need something like that. And you need to be able to offer up an experience that can't be found anywhere else. I'm talking something extremely different. You know, we're all very complacent and used to controller in hand, look at the TV. When you bring something new to the table, you then have to essentially groom an entire fan base to adjusting or getting used to something like this, or even just being open-minded enough to wanting to go and try it out, let alone investing their hard-earned money into purchasing it and supporting it. You also can't have large gaps in software available for this. You can't have a game come out and then 5 months goes by and then another game comes out, and if that another game that came out ends up sucking a big fucking mile-long stretch of donkey dick, well, guess the fuck what? Right there, you pretty much just screwed the pooch, and this thing is gonna just flounder more and more and more. You also are gonna have to keep the price point low. The price point cannot be some exuberant amount of money that people are not going to be comfortable with paying. I personally don't know what a comfortable price point for something like this, because tech like this isn't really all over the place for me to be like, oh yeah, that seems like it's reasonable. But I can tell you right now, if you come at it like, you know, $400, $300, I'm still gonna be like, no. I'm gonna try it out, but would I go and invest that kind of money with that, you know, a bevy of titles that are really interesting, that are exclusive to it, at a price point that high? Fuck that. But you also can't go in at a price point that's too low with tech like this and lose that big time on each individual hardware sale if you don't have tons of software to back it up to go and make up for things in volume, because that means that you're getting fucked several different ways. Like, you essentially are the glory hole. Like, you're getting fucked 7 days from fucking Sunday, up, down, left, right, doesn't really matter, contra code in the fucking eyeball and squirting out the back. I'm sorry, that's just messy. But price point has to be low enough for people to go and jump in on this. You've really got to get this, like, advertised like a motherfucker. Like, you need to get this out to all the people out there. Like, for example, when the Wii blew up, it was because it was something different. If you can go and emulate a strategy like that and get people invested in that idea, because lots of people have known about what VR is for a long time. Not VR troopers, we are VR. But a lot of people have known what virtual reality is. Seriously, VR troopers was so fucking corny. I loved it, but it was corny. But a lot of people know what it is, but they've never gone to try it themselves. It's one of those things that it seemed very sci-fi-ish, or it just seemed a little bit too unreal. Now, with something like this, say if you package it in with the console, that'd be an easier way to get people invested in an idea, assuming that the price point isn't like $900 or some shit, because you will get laughed at endlessly. Even if you're including the headset in the system and an extra controller and fucking move controller, it's still gonna be like, nope, I'm good. Sorry, way too much. Way too fucking much to go and just plop down. Would it still make sense to price at that? More than likely, considering all the stuff that's gonna be inside the box, but you have to think about, you have to have a consumer mentality. So you want to get them invested in an idea, make it cheap enough for them to be able to afford. Now, with something like this, I'm one of those people that I want to try something out, but again, I'm stuck in my ways. And this is really a truth of the matter. I'm more comfortable with just sitting down with my TV and a controller in hand. Is this something I think would be really neat? Having like the PlayStation little camera set up and having the remote and the PlayStation Move there fucking running around all over the place. Like, just imagine a big open world sitting here just running around Grand Theft Auto style, and you're just going up and just like fucking people up and just doing all sorts of really crazy shit. I think something like that could be really amusing, assuming that you actually have the room to do stuff like that. But it would, if it's a unique experience, it's something I'd want to try out. But it's not something I want to wholly invest into. This is my personal take on it. With anything like that, it's still going to end up being viewed as a gimmick to a lot of people out there. You know, a lot of people, whenever the Wii remote came out, they thought it was really cool to jump on and try for the first while, but then after a while, it just got old. You don't want that to happen. You got to keep this fresh. You got to keep this interesting. You got to maintain the consumer interest on stuff like this, and that's something I'm kind of interested in. Can you do that? Can you look at a business strategy that was a big success but slowly fizzled out. Can you go and pick that up and run with it? And you also have to wonder, what's Microsoft going to be doing? You have to build your business strategy to not only contend with the Oculus Rift, but with the potential of what your biggest console competition right now is going to end up doing. And since you're the first one out the gates, if you fuck up, they can see everything that you did wrong and then just not do that whatsoever and try to be intelligent about it. So you have to get this right the first time around. I can say this, I am glad that they announced this right now instead of at E3, so E3 can just be a big focus on nothing but video games. So GDC got this shit the fuck out of the way, so that's really good. And there was something kind of interesting to note. While a lot of people did bring up, you know, oh man, this is a fucking rip-off of the Oculus Rift, Sony actually came out and outright said that they built this because of the Oculus Rift, and as a matter of fact, they even approached the people that were making it, and were trying to be like, hey, you want to make that for the PlayStation 4? That'd be really awesome, and just you know, trying to coerce them to come on over, go on, it'd be awesome, come on, we got booze, got chicks, strippers everywhere, we can put on the Oculus Rift and fucking run around and be all crazy. You want to wear just the Oculus Rift and a smile? No, you don't. Fuck you then, we'll make our own. So that's what they end up doing, is just making their own. But with stuff like this, it's just one of those, you gotta give me games to impress me. That's all it is at the end of the day. Anytime that I've seen any kind of hardware that was a peripheral of some sort, I'm like, do you have software? Do you have software? When I saw the Kinect, I'm like, that's cool and all. I mean, like, on paper, it sounds like you got your shit together and there's lots of potential there, but are the developers as interested in making stuff for this? And is it going to be as cool as you're saying? Like, is this all going to work together? Give me games. That's what I want. And then there's going to be a lot of people out there that just aren't going to give a fuck at all, because they're going to be like, Morpheus, oh man, that's awesome. How about games? How about games? Like, that's what I want. Just give me games. Like, seriously, fuck off with all this and give me games. Stacks of games. I want lots of exclusives. I want lots of AAA titles. I want sequels. I want prequels. I want remakes. Give me what the fuck ever. Give me entire collections of shit. I don't want this, though. And so you're going to have the automatic naysayers there to contend with the entire time. You're more than likely never going to win them over, so that's something you're going to have to accept right off the bat. Is you'll never be able to win them over, so try to win over all the open-minded people. And hell, maybe down the road, if you really do go and basically win people over on this promise of trying to fucking innovate and stuff, then good on you. But I know that they were trying to say that this will become like a preferred way to go and enjoy things. I think they were fucking huffing something when they said that, because I'm sorry, having shit strapped to my fucking skull is not going to be my preference whatsoever. Even Google Glass seems like it would be kind of annoying after a while. Like, I like having my freedom, and I just want one thing just placed right there. If I want to take shit with me, bust out like a little screen from my pocket, my phone, and there you go, or my fucking handheld, and there we go. I get to control that. I don't have this shit right there. And I also wonder how many people are going to be playing, get ball tapped like a motherfucker, fall down and bust their face, and bust the headset up to all hell. Fucking, the bridge of their nose is all broken in and shit, looking like they had a fucking boxer come up and was like, you owed me money. Pow! Just fuck their day up. And that's one of the things, like, I remember whenever the Wii came out, there were so many people just chucking controllers, like, dead into the TV because they forgot to use the strap, and they were like, oh shit, like, how many times is this gonna happen? Somebody's like, trying to get really into doing some shit, like they're playing like some kind of dance game or what the fuck ever, and they have like little kids running around, and they just boot the little bastards out of the way, just, and they're just flying all over the place, and fucking pull up the headset, and then all of a sudden, it's like, CYS and a bunch of other shit roll in, woo! Fucking hauling them off to jail while they're wearing their Morpheus set, and they're just like, hold on, I didn't save! Like, seeing some shit like that, I can already say, like, can you imagine having, like, the Morpheus with, like, combined with the show Cops? That would be cool as fuck. Like, dude, oh my god, that would be neat as shit. It kind of reminds me of, like, the GoPro cams, but, like, taken to another level of, like, real crazy shit, and just... There's lots of potential here that would be neat to go and try out at the very least. And I'm open to the idea of having options. That's what I like about this, is that you know, with the Oculus Rift and with the Morpheus, it's an option readily available for gamers. Whether or not I'm going to give a whole bunch of fucks remains to be seen, but if you give me, like, really interesting games and shit, like, I know that they talked about, you'll be able to walk on the surface of Mars. That's really cool, but how many times am I going to give a fuck to do something like that? Like, it'll be a novel experience for X amount of time, but I just want games. I want games and an experience that I cannot get anywhere else, and cannot, I cannot enjoy it this way any other way. Just by using this headset, that's the only way I'm going to be able to do it. So if you can make a proper bundle, if you can put out a good amount of games, get a lot of support for this, get a lot of fucking buzz going with this, then that's good shit. But I still say that overall I would see the Oculus Rift being a more useful device by comparison, just because of not only the people that are working on it, but because of the fact that since it's PC-centric, that means that it's open to anything and everything without any kind of limitations or boundaries to ever have to go and contend with. So that's my opinion on it, but then again, it remains to be seen, because neither of these items are officially out for public consumption, so who the fuck knows. But there's a lot of conjecture and hearsay and a lot of arguing and stuff like that, and what the fuck ever. I know all of you have opinions about this and stuff. If you want any more of the information, by the way, it's in the description if you want to go and read about it. But, you know, that's pretty much it. They have, like, the specs and stuff like that. Like, that was a 1080p screen. It's like, no shit, if it didn't, I'd assume you're fucking retarded. But, yeah, if you want to read it, it's there. So, opinions, thoughts, feelings, comment box, you know, do that kind of thing and shit like that. You already heard what I had to fucking say on this entire thing. So, anyhow, I will conclude this. Like always, nerds, nerdettes, and gamers, game the fuck on.